The first tradition I would like to talk about is the shortbread cookies that my mother makes on a yearly basis. To be exact on what the cookies look like, they are rounded cookie dough made into different shapes and sizes. They were basic to make, requiring butter, flour, a little sugar, and an egg or two. Then they're mixed together to make the dough, and then my mother and I, sometimes my sisters too, would take portions of the dough and do a rolling motion with it in between our hands to make the cookies, regardless of how much we took. Based on me saying that they were in various sizes and shapes, there were some cookies we made over the years that were quite interesting to say the least. Some cookies we made almost as small as a plastic water bottle cap, and then there were ones that were significantly bigger, almost as big as the middle of the palm of a human hand. And how did they taste, you may ask? Let me tell you, they taste so good. They taste like a very sweet bread, and I often would eat quite a bit of them when they were made because they were so good. Even at times I tasted the dough, which was equally as good as the cookies themselves. However, it may not be the brightest of ideas, but you never know until you try. If you're ever looking for shortbread cookies around Christmas time, try the ones my mother makes. I bet you'll love them as much as I do. The next tradition I would like to share with you all is one that is common with any family, that being Secret Santa. For those of you who don't know what Secret Santa is, I'll give you all a quick explanation. Secret Santa involves a person who gets a gift for another person while not revealing that they are the one who got it until the time comes to open the gift. I have to say, it's a really clever concept. The Secret Santa gift exchange for my family only happens on my mother's side of the family. And how do we decide who we get gifts for, you may ask? We do a random draw, and the person we get is the one we have to get the gift for. When this happens, you all may not believe it. We do it around Thanksgiving. Since my family and I are from Canada, our Thanksgiving is on the second Monday of October, compared to the United States, whose Thanksgiving is on the fourth Thursday of November. It's definitely strange, I'll admit it, but it is what it is. The harvest comes at different times for each country. As for times when it happened, more specifically for this year, I got the same person I did for a past year. I'm not saying who because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But the draw no question has brought some surprising people who were my Secret Santa. Last year being one of my aunts, which I felt was somewhat strange. Random chance sure has an amazing way of presenting itself, even on Christmas. Speaking of my mother's side of the family, this is another tradition we have with them, that being a gingerbread house competition. This tradition was started by one of my cousins back in 2013, where there would be 2 teams of 3 who would make gingerbread houses based on a specific theme, and there would be a panel of judges, that being the rest of the family, who would decide who wins the competition. The teams in question are as follows. The first team has one of my cousins, along with my 2 sisters, and the second team has another family cousin, one of my aunts, and my mother. The day when the competition happens is the same day as the family Christmas dinner and gift exchange, and it varied for the first few years. When my sisters and I spent Christmas with my mother, we would hold it on Christmas Day. And when my sisters and I spent Christmas with my father, we would do it on New Year's. The winner also varies from year to year, as the first year we did it, my sister's team won, and then the next, my mother's team won. And it went on this back and forth theme. As for the judging, I was the only judge of the competition for the first 2 years. In the second year, however, something silly really happened, in which I named my mother's team the winner since their gingerbread house was themed around the Disney movie Frozen, which I was a fan of at the time. Don't get me wrong, I really liked the gingerbread house that my sisters and cousin made that year, but the additional detail of the music video for Let It Go for the Frozen gingerbread house was what really got my attention. Afterwards, my sisters and cousin hilariously accused the setup of being non-edible because some props in it were made of non-consumable products. But they didn't convince me. All I really saw was how it was presented. However, thinking back on it, I think I may have had somewhat of a bias. As I mentioned earlier, I really loved Frozen at the time. It's pretty funny now that I think of it, which makes me think this wasn't a controversy. It was more or less a very funny moment. The next year we did switch to include all family members to have a vote in the gingerbread house competition, with the exception of the teams and me still being the primary judge. Thankfully, results have been more fair and inclusive, and the back and forth of winners continued. I'm not sure if one will happen this year, but if it does happen, I'll make sure to share it with you all. As for the teams in this case, since my older sister moved to Florida, someone would either have to take her place on my younger sister's team, or she can join remotely. Regardless of what happens though, the gingerbread house competition on my mother's side of the family is no question a holiday tradition for the history books. This next tradition I would like to share is honestly my most favorite one. That being the Christmas dinner with my family on my father's side, which yearly has been hosted by my Nana and Papa 2 to 3 days before Christmas. Nowadays, it's just my Papa who hosts, because unfortunately, my Nana did pass away on August 25th, 2014 at the age of 66. Rest in peace, Nana. May God rest your soul. Anyways, onto the tradition itself. My cousins on my dad's side, along with their father and stepmother, as well as my stepbrother and stepmother, in addition to my great aunt, joined for the dinner. Now I did mention only my great aunt, because my great uncle, Uncle George, he came along to every single dinner as well, until he passed away on April 18th, 2017 at the age of 93. May God rest your soul, Uncle George. I did make a mention of him back in episode 8 of Angel Rise. If you would like to check it out, I will include a link on the screen right here. For the dinner itself, my papa makes steak and homemade fries, which is undoubtedly one of the most unique food combos I've ever seen, and I really enjoy it every single year. In addition, Papa also gives gifts to all his grandchildren on that day, myself included, and some of them I wasn't quite expecting, but no question I took them in. Another thing we did at the family dinners was take family photos. In 2010, during one of them, there were pictures taken of the grandchildren myself included, based on which parent they belong to, with some mixes in the process. One of mine involved having my youngest cousin sitting on my leg, which I honestly enjoyed because, for the early parts of my life, him and I were very close. As a matter of fact, these photos were recreated a few years later, with the same poses, though we had different outfits than what we had back then. Let's just say, they were just as fun as the ones back in 2010. I'm never afraid to look back on that. And my absolute favorite part of this tradition is a present pass-along game which was created a couple years after Nana's passing. How this works is we roll a foam dice to determine how each gift for the game is shifted around. Actions for numbers included stealing another person's gift, trading gifts to the person beside us, and opening the gift we have. Those actions have led to some pretty funny moments, including one Christmas where one of my cousins, who of course is the youngest cousin I mentioned earlier and is the same age as my younger sister, was constantly goofing around with my father, and my father didn't hesitate to return funny fire. It was no question hilarious now that I think of it. Once we open a gift, we can shift it around with other people until everyone has rolled the number with the opening gift action. Then once the game ends, we get to keep the gifts that we have. The most notable gift I got from this game was a blanket that I got in 2018. It was white with gray and black detailing on it. I still have it to this day, and while I may not use it often, it's still amazing to look at. And it's a definite partner to the one I've had since childhood. Overall, this tradition has brought so many memories, and is no question my most favorite of the traditions that my family has. For the last tradition I would like to share, this is one I recently started. That being making drawings as Christmas gifts for my family. This is a tradition I started because buying them something was becoming less of a strong suit for me, as I didn't have many ideas for them, with some exceptions, including Secret Santa. Plus, I do want to save money, because of a quote I keep deep down in my heart. Money can't buy happiness. Also, I've done this before outside of Christmas, as my way of expressing gratitude to things and people I appreciate. For example, I made drawings for my teachers in my later years of high school, thanking them for being in their class. And what are the drawings of, you may ask? They are of my OCs and my real-life self. And for the sake of Christmas, they are of course in Christmas outfits. Honestly, they are a joy to make. Artwork has always been one of my biggest strengths, and to pass them along as gifts is truly a new way of mine to say Merry Christmas and giving back to those I love. Every one of these traditions I've shared with you all have a special place in my heart, and I cherish them for both the past and the present. Would I say they are spirited traditions? I would definitely say so. The first gift I would like to share is a Mario Princess plush that I got for Christmas in 2016. And you might think I only got Rosalina since she is my favorite Super Mario character. That is not the case here. But yes, I did get her. But it was a couple days after Christmas that I got another Mario Princess plush that would truly make this Christmas one to remember. That being Princess Daisy. I got the plush of her as a gift from my mother, and it just so happened to be the last gift that I got for Christmas that year. So I consider it a miracle that I got her as the last gift. Because I initially thought that I wasn't going to get her even though I asked for her and just get Rosalina. But in the end, I got her and Rosalina the same Christmas, and it was truly a miracle, as I described in a later Christmas post that I made. Now, where was Peach in all this? To be exact, I got her cat version plush alongside Daisy and Rosalina, but not her normal version. I waited until November the following year to get the normal Peach plush, and then the trio was complete. I initially wanted to wait until Christmas of that year to get that plush, but my instincts told me otherwise. So I would consider it an early Christmas gift for me that year. However, I feel if I didn't get the Daisy plush when I did, I'm not sure if my Mario Princess plush collection would be as complete as it was back then. The same year possibly would have been the best case scenario if I did get the Daisy plush at a later time, but honestly, what happened happened, and I'm grateful that it did. The next gift I would like to share with you all is a video game I initially didn't ask for, but I loved how it looked. That being Super Mario Odyssey. I've always liked the looks of 3D Super Mario games, as well as main Mario games in general. But I've never been keen on actually playing them, as I'm one for playing the spin-off games. That's when Super Mario Odyssey came into play. I thought I would take a chance and ask for it for Christmas, and my mother answered the call. And I won't spoil the game too much for those who haven't played it yet. When I got to playing the game, I felt like I couldn't stop playing it. And looking back on it now, the vacation concept of Super Mario Odyssey is honestly one I will never forget. The variety of kingdoms just made me so happy. Also, I love the concept of taking control of enemies with Cappy, a new character introduced to the series in this game, whom I honestly love, and his purpose I honestly find super creative. Plus, this game has Mario Galaxy references, including that the game has levels in space. I mean, come on! How good can this game get? Because of this experience, Super Mario Odyssey gave me a lot of confidence to play other Mario platformer games. Mostly Super Mario Galaxy, which was released 10 years prior to Odyssey. It's definitely safe to say that Super Mario Odyssey is no doubt one of my all-time favorite Christmas gifts, thanks to it giving me the confidence to play mainline games, even non-Mario games like Fire Emblem. Next up is a gift that I mentioned back in the last episode of Angel Rise, that being the blanket from the present pass-along game during my father's side of the family Christmas dinner in 2018. For context, it was part of the present pass-along game, and anyone can have it. There's no assigned person to have the gift, or any other gift that was involved in the game. When I first saw the blanket, I thought right away, I better have that by the end of this game. But like I also mentioned in the last episode, random chance has an interesting way of presenting itself. I ended up getting the blanket just when the game was about to end, and I was honestly so happy to get it. Why, you may ask? It's because I felt at the time I could use a new blanket to go along with the one I've had since I was born. The new blanket in question is a lot bigger than my childhood blanket. It's white, with black and gray stripes on it, and it has a fluffy surface on the bottom, which my childhood blanket doesn't have. As of this episode, it is stored away, but I have used it on my bed quite a few times after I got it. My blanket from my childhood is no question my favorite blanket that I've had, but the one I got at the present pass-along game is no question a second place to it, and it will forever be a reminder of that amazing day. Speaking of reminders, this next gift I got is more of an emotional one. I got it for Christmas the year after I got the blanket from the present pass-along. That being a hockey jersey of a junior hockey team known as the Humboldt Broncos. For those of you who don't know who the Humboldt Broncos are, they are a Junior A hockey team from the Canadian province of Saskatchewan and are two-time Canadian national champions. However, they are also known for a horrible tragedy that struck them on April the 6th, 2018, when their team bus collided with a tractor trailer while on their way to a playoff game in Nipawin, Saskatchewan. 29 people were on the bus that day, 16 of whom died, and the other 13 being injured to various degrees. The number 29 will be important for later. Initially, I didn't think too much of the crash, but about 5 months afterwards, when TSN televised the team's season opener to recognize the resilience the team went through despite the accident, that's when I started to grasp the emotional weight of what happened. I fully grasped it when the 1-year anniversary came. The impact the crash has had on those who had lost a loved one and those who survived the accident, I got a great sense of, and it was truly impactful in my mind. And about a month before Christmas in 2019, that's when I decided I would ask for a Humboldt Broncos jersey as a Christmas gift. It was the last gift I opened up the morning of Christmas Day that year, and it was buried under multiple packages of paper to use for my drawings, which I thought was clever and well done by one of my aunts. When I got to the jersey, honestly I was joyous, and even cried a slight bit, thanking my aunt for the gift in the process. As for the jersey itself, it was the Humboldt Broncos white jersey with the word Humboldt going across diagonally on the jersey, much like the jersey of the NHL's New York Rangers. On it, it had my last name on the back, as well as the number 29, representing the 29 people on board the bus the day of the crash. The story of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash is no question a tragic one, but I feel it's one of inspiration and coming together to support others in time of need. And the jersey I got for Christmas in 2019 is no doubt my way of saying, I'll always be Humboldt strong. This last gift I would like to talk about is one that I didn't receive, but one I gave to my father. And this gift, I honestly feel, is the best gift I've given to anyone for Christmas. That being a mat from my father's office. You may be thinking, why a mat? The answer is as simple as it sounds. The mat's design has a rough texture and is sand-colored with a black border, which I think is really cool. But the text on it is what made it the best gift I've ever given at Christmas. It says, "Oh no, Not you again! It actually has a swear word on it, but I put the no in place of the word as I'm not one for using swear words, apart from the occasional use of damn and hell, which honestly I'm still debating on whether they're actually swear words or not. Anyways, the text on there I found absolutely funny. And considering my father can be quite a comedian and jokes around when the time is appropriate, I knew right away I had to get the mat for him. No questions asked, he loved it, and it remains on the outside of his office to this day. I get a good chuckle every time I see the mat, reminding myself of the comedian my father can be, and knowing that I got it as a Christmas gift for him was no doubt a treat. It's no question presents are an iconic symbol of Christmas, but the stories and memories behind them, I feel, are more important. Everyone gets their favorite presents for a reason, to realize their passions and their memories, while making more in the process. It sure is a joy to get presents, but it's more of a joy in my mind to have presents of memories. Starting with the bad moments. The first bad moment I would like to share is my continued struggle on social media, plus the return that lasted for only over a month. From what I mentioned back in episode 3, my time on social media over the last couple years has been a nightmare. Dealing with exaggerated civil rights posts, exaggerated political discussions, and my abuse, it was all in front of me, pushing my mentality to my limits. I took a long break from August 2021 to April 2022, and returned with hopes that everything died down. They did, but only a little bit. I still struggle dealing with the endless amount of drama on social media. Even dealing with a male Mario OC who I perceived to be good, only to find out he was a jerk, and tried to get me involved in things I wasn't interested in, like the movie The Princess Bride, and blocked him. I won't say who did it for privacy reasons. For those I did trust that I interacted with, I felt like that was the only good part about my return. It would break apart a month in. When the first signs of me quitting came up, I thought to myself, if this nonsense continues, I'm leaving. But I decided on limiting how much I use the platforms I use, with the exclusion of Discord. But on May 14th, 2022, the last straw broke, when my favorite NHL team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, were eliminated from the first round of the playoffs for the 6th straight year, and I knew that the fan base would be extremely impatient and be absolutely dramatic. To bring some clarity, I love the Maple Leafs no matter what, and support them with all my heart. And to see them be berated by their own fans is heartbreaking and disgusting for me to see, and I wanted no part of it. That's when I took another break, and 2.5 weeks later, I decided I was going to quit, and swore on oath that I would not return to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Discord I found to be a lot safer, and I stuck with it. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I have changed my mind, and I'm going to return to Instagram. But with significant changes. My accounts being set to private, and only following those I trust. But why so? I feel like Instagram isn't as bad as Facebook or Twitter. And despite the fact that Instagram was the social media site where my abuse took place, I feel confident that if I take the right precautions, I would avoid a repeat affair. Hopefully my return in January 2023 will be a lot better than that hellish return in April 2022 and my continued struggles, which was no doubt one of the worst moments of the year for me. However, it's not as bad as this next one. The second and worst bad moment I would like to talk about is a moment I talked about in episode 24, that being the incident I had with my dear friend Kestrel on April 23rd. The incident happened because of a podcast Kestrel and their boyfriend were a part of with a really bad trio of people. And by really bad, I mean literally one of the worst groups of people to be around. But what specifically happened to make this moment so horrible? It started with the intro of the first episode stating a disclaimer that jokes will be made. I was under the consideration that they would be puns, like the ones I make. But boy, was I about to be proved wrong. About 5 minutes into watching, I got a realization that the jokes being made were of sensitive subjects. But it wasn't until 2 minutes of watching later when Kestrel made one of these jokes. And then, all hell broke loose in my mind. Jokes about racism, mental health, and even the cancel culture phenomenon were widespread. And I thought, why would anyone, let alone Kestrel, be involved in such nonsense like this? I left a dislike and screamed as I clicked out of the video after only watching 16 minutes of it. What happened afterwards was a near implosion of my friendship with Kestrel, as I stated that I didn't like the podcast one bit, and Kestrel feared that it was game over for our friendship. But within my heart, I couldn't bear to lose Kestrel as a friend as much as she didn't want to lose me. I was heartbroken and mad, even crying a bit. But to cut ties right then and there is a move a jerk would make. Kestrel and I did make up, but there was no doubt I was shaken up after what happened. The sad part about this was that the night before, I made a note for Kestrel acknowledging how thankful I was for our friendship. And like I mentioned in episode 24, it's unbelievable that one night we were the bestest friends ever, and then the very next day, our friendship was on the line. And I wondered for months afterwards, who was responsible for nearly bringing down my friendship with Kestrel and their boyfriend. It was simple. That damned trio they were with. They disregarded what Kestrel and their boyfriend enjoyed to glorify what they loved, and used sexist terms on Kestrel like just a woman, and completely disregarded Kestrel's reasons for identifying as a pansexual demigirl. Seriously, how messed up is that? Using a phrase like that on my dear friend is the equivalent of my abuser Texic calling my OC Nicolina a good girl. Plus, to add insult to injury, that trio thought Kestrel and their boyfriend were lesser because of both of them having autism, and they manipulated them into participating in the podcast in the first place, and making them mirror what they did. I'm gonna be honest, I have no words to describe how awful those guys treated Kestrel and their boyfriend. Especially Kestrel. If I ever see that trio in real life, or if they try to interact with me, either I'm going to ignore them, or give them the biggest earful of their lives. They nearly destroyed my friendship with Kestrel, and have committed great sins. That is no doubt the worst thing that has happened to me in 2022. Alright everyone, we've moved past the rough parts of the ride, the bad moments I've had in 2022, but now it's on to the fun parts, the good moments I've had in 2022. The first good moment I would like to share with you all is my realization of how important my friendship with Kestrel became. As you all know, my friendship with Kestrel has expanded dramatically over the time we've known each other. Especially considering that we have two OC romances between us, that being Nicol Daisy x Kestra Peach and Nicolina x Kestrelina. Also, I've made various videos on this channel about my friendship with Kestrel, including a full Angel Rise episode dedicated to them. I will include a playlist of those videos on the screen here. Going back to the OC romances, the two OC romances I have with Kestrel spawned children this year. I'm not even kidding. My OCs now have kids. One of which I mentioned back in episode 20 of Angel Rise. And since then, there's been another one. And who are they, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. The first child is Marie, another Rosalina OC, who is the child of Nicolina and Kestrelina, who was first created on April 14th, 2022, nearly a year after Nicol Daisy and Kestra Peach became a couple. Instantly, I found Marie to be so unexpected, but I couldn't resist the fact that Nicolina was now a mother. I honestly can't put into words how excited I was. I knew right then and there something special had emerged. Marie even had some features that Nicolina had, like the half gold, half silver crown, and the red lipstick, the latter of which when she was fully grown. Only Marie's dress is red and has a symbol of a heart with a swirl in the middle on each sleeve. I was so happy that Marie was created that I went on to make a drawing of Nicolina singing his call in front of Marie. I could sense in my mind that Marie would become an angel like Nicolina. And so it came to be. On April 28, 2022, Kestrel came up with a face paint design for Marie. It has similarities with both Nicolina and Kestrelina's angel face paints. The base design was the same, only she had hearts beside her eyes and a holy cross on her forehead. The hearts beside her eyes represent Kestrelina, and the holy cross on the forehead represents Nicolina. Only her face paint doesn't have a white base like Nicolina and Kestrelina. The base is half pink and half red, with the detailing being white, much like on Nicol Daisy's face paint. The finishing touch was a roleplay I did with Kestrel over a month after Marie was created, in which God officially declared her to be one, as well as given her an angel outfit and wings. Marie was honestly a blessing I couldn't have imagined, and if you thought Nicolina and Kestrelina having a child was amazing, it gets even better. On September 2nd, 2022, a day after I released episode 20 of Angel Rise, Nicol Daisy and Kestra Peach's child was created by Kestrel. It was a Peach OC by the name of Iris. Now, how did Iris come to be? It came from a question Kestrel asked in episode 20 of Angel Rise, asking if Nicol Daisy and Kestra Peach would have a child like Nicolina and Kestrelina did. And as you may have surmised, I said yes. Initially, I thought Marie between Nicolina and Kestrelina was good enough. But I felt, at the same time, why not have Nicol Daisy and Kestra Peach have a child of their own? And boom! That's when Iris came in. For those of you religious experts who recognize the name, you may very well know the name's origin. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain. The name Iris comes from the Greek goddess of the same name, who was known as the messenger of the gods. That was exactly implemented into our Iris, being a messenger of her family and God himself. Plus, Iris has her own form she undertakes when doing so, resembling how Peach looks when doing her Mega Strike in Mario Strikers Charged. Only Iris turns half blue and half yellow to represent the colors of her mother's and handles a light blue purse. As for her normal look, like Marie, she has features related to Nickel Daisy, like having freckles, a half gold, half silver crown, and red lipstick. For the dress, it's white with gray accents on it, plus a heart on each side of the top part of her dress, blue on the right, and yellow on the left. And for her face paint, which I designed, recognized a similar concept for Marie's face paint, which incorporated details of each of her mother's face paints, only it had a white base, blue and yellow details, including a holy cross on the forehead, as well as a silver heart on the nose and silver lips. And based on her name, it didn't take too much to recognize Iris as an angel. Overall, having children in my OC romances with Kestrel wasn't something I could have imagined when they started. But in the end, they were blessings in disguise. Beyond that, my friendship with Kestrel has built up so strong that I started to believe that being in love doesn't feel as bad as I originally thought of it to be. And I think of Kestrel every single day and pray for their safety, because I know life has not been easy on Kestrel, and she can use all the support she can get. Plus, she's the one who made me fully understand the LGBTQ community, and as stated earlier, she does identify as a pansexual demigirl. She even introduced me to the definition of bigender and helped me realize the true identity of my OCs. Bigender, intersex, and lesbian. The biggest part of this, however, is I feel like Kestrel has become a sister to me, because of how dedicated we've been to each other and the understanding we have despite each of our struggles. Now, why is that? It's because I've always been one to look out for my friends and family, even when they are in strong need of help. Kestrel definitely feels like one of those people. One who I feel I could literally spend every day with. Making drawings and edits of each other's OCs, role-playing like there's no tomorrow, and making each other feel at our best. Our OCs have expanded into a family. She has a good heart. We're both interested in the Mario princesses, and we both wish the best care for each other. The feeling of Kestrel being a sister to me, having confidence to find love, learning more about the LGBTQ community, and having children in our OC romances was no doubt why the importance of my friendship with Kestrel skyrocketed and made it one of my best moments of 2022. The second good moment of 2022 I would like to share is the move to my grandparents' place. Moving no doubt can be quite stressful, but in my case, my stress was quite limited. I did explain this in more detail in episode 21 of Angel Rise, which I will leave a link to on the screen here. In March 2022, I first got the news that my mother and I would have to move based on the fact that our old neighbor's oldest daughter was due to be married and wished to move into the house we lived in at the time. We initially were looking to move into a house not far from our old one, but it changed in June 2022 when it was decided that we would move into my grandparents' place on the other end of town. Why, you may ask? It was mainly because of my grandpa's declining health, and it felt like a gift to both him and my grandma that we were moving in because they initially were going to move themselves, and my mother and I were helping quite a bit with selling some of their stuff. So I consider it a reward to them. At the time of this recording, it's been fun so far. It's because I've familiarized myself with the area my grandparents live in because I trick-or-treated a lot there when I was a kid. My room is located in the basement, which was renovated by my uncle. The original beams that had been installed in the basement when the house was originally built in 1973, they were removed, and the flooring was replaced as well, along with the removal of some of the wood paneling on the near wall. As for my room, it was made separate from the rest of the basement area, occupying the far end, including my grandpa's old workshop, which will eventually be turned into my studio. As of this recording, it's being used for storage. For my desk/work area, it's located within the main area of the basement, with my desk and drawing table set up almost identically to how it was set up back at my old place. It's no problem, however, as I've enjoyed working out there despite the occasional distractions. As for recording these videos, at the time of recording of this video, I mostly record them in my bedroom with some inclusion of my eventual studio. I felt there were very few reasons why the move was difficult. The most significant being that I loved the area I previously lived in so much, and it was difficult to say goodbye to it. But at the same time, I pounced on the opportunity to live at my grandparents' place. The place where I've made so many good memories in the past, and have made even more since the move was completed. That's why the move has become one of my favorite moments of 2022. And finally, my last and most favorite moment of 2022. That being the creation of this channel and this podcast. For those of you who don't know, my podcast takes partial inspiration from a podcast called The Topical Podcast, which was created by my high school friends Cameron Haas and Sam Smaretsky. As a matter of fact, I was part of an episode of that podcast. I will include a link to that on the screen here in case you want to check it out. Being part of that podcast was fun, no questions asked. But I never could have imagined it would spawn my own podcast. On January 3rd, 2022, it all began. This wonderful podcast series where I tell stories of some of my most memorable experiences based around a certain topic was ready to be shared with you all. And like I mentioned earlier about sharing my own experiences, that's a big reason why I wanted to make this series quite original and a way to express my emotions. All the while, realizing that other people have similar stories to mine, mostly from Kestrel and their boyfriend. Making this series was also a big reason why some questions I had were answered, like why the incident between Kestrel and I happened, or how people would react when I shared my abuse story. Those answers came to light after someone viewed an episode, especially when it came to episode 24, and why the incident between Kestrel and I happened on April 23rd. While the podcast is no question the biggest part of this channel, in February of 2022, not long after I made episode 6 of Angel Rise, I felt the channel could use a boost. That's why I started making other content which started with the motivational speeches. Then came the skits, the poems, and the read-throughs. Those, combined with my podcast, I feel make a strong message that I'm not just here to make a podcast, but to make other content as well. And I also felt it was to share my message of peace and love and not just to have fun. This is not your average YouTube channel. I'm not here just for the views or for the popularity. I'm here because I love making videos and wish to share them with a bigger audience and those I love. When the time comes, more of the right people will come and subscribe to the channel. But for right now, I'm honestly happy where I'm at. And I can't wait for what the future of this channel brings. To everyone who has supported this channel since the beginning, I would like to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. And like I always say, any and all support is greatly appreciated, no matter how big or small. Having this channel is no doubt a blessing, and a great way to express who I am. From the speeches, to the poems, to the skits, to the read-throughs, and even this podcast, the start of making content for you all is no doubt my most favorite moment of 2022. The ride is complete, everyone. The ups and downs and the twists and turns were no doubt wild. And while some of them were uncomfortable, others made this ride so much fun. I can definitely say 2022 was the year of the roller coaster. Number 1. Episode 2. A Different Ability. This is the first full episode of Angel Rise that I created. It was released back on January 13th, 2022, 10 days after episode 1. In the episode, I talk about my autism and how it's been managed. The big things I share in that episode is when I was diagnosed, my behaviors, and the autism programs I was a part of for a place called Lansdowne Children's Center, which helps kids who have physical and intellectual disabilities. Notable behaviors I exhibited included using a somewhat loud voice whenever I wanted to say something, getting overwhelmed when someone did or said something I didn't like, and sensitivity to excessive noise, especially at school. As for the programs I was a part of, they included IBI, which were one-on-one sessions, and Teen Group, which involved other teens who had a similar disability to mine, doing various social activities. Now, why is this episode special to me? It's because not many people with autism or other intellectual disabilities can communicate well. I felt like I could be a voice for them there and share my experience with autism. It also makes me feel that autism isn't as much of a disability as many people surmise it to be. People with autism like myself, I feel, are some of the most special people on the face of the earth, who think differently and see more than what other people can't. While having autism can be tough for me at times, I'm honestly thankful that I have it in the first place. Because how would I see all sides in everything I know? That's where the title of this episode comes into play. The title comes from a belief of the indigenous people, as well as a quote from musician Stuart Duncan, that autism is not a disability, it's a different ability. I feel that makes a lot of sense with how I view myself and others with autism and other intellectual disabilities. Not as people who should be targeted, but people who think apart from others in their own amazing way and doing the best they can. That's why episode 2 is among my 5 most favorite episodes that I've made so far. Number 2, episode 9, Hilarious Heights. I honestly had a laugh doing this episode, and I mean it literally. This episode was made on March 5th, 2022, and from the title of the episode, I talk about some of the funniest moments in my life that I've endured up to that point. By the way, there have been loads of hilarious moments since then. I'll be more than willing to share them in a future episode if you guys want. Anyways, the funny moments I shared in that episode were my farting spree in a hotel in Niagara Falls during a trip with my father and 2 sisters in 2014. Having several pairs of sunglasses fall apart during my trip to Punta Cana in 2018, also with my father and 2 sisters, and watching the Wario Saturday Night Live skit with my step-cousin. Out of those moments, the funniest, no doubt, has to be the sunglasses one. Why, you may ask? It's not because of them falling apart. It's the weird theories I came up with surrounding why they fell apart. I came up with 2 big theories, which included the hot weather and the residue from the sunscreen I applied on my face. Let me be honest, my father and 2 sisters were questioning me like crazy in a funny way about these theories. And the funniest part? I stayed serious the whole time. Like, I didn't let up one bit about these theories, which makes it even more hilarious. Even now, there is still debate about it from time to time, including 2 new theories I came up with, which involve the way I put my sunglasses on my face and my hat. Now, I'm usually one who likes to stay serious and maintain a calm demeanor. But over the last few years, I've become accustomed to have a few big laughs and joke around every once in a while. Heck, even I've recently began making puns. Speaking of which, I did make a skit in November of 2022 in regards to that. I'll link the video on the screen here. Overall, episode 9 was so much fun to make and a good way to let the giggles out. It definitely deserves to be among my 5 most favorite episodes of Angel Rise so far. Number 3, episode 16, A True Dear Friend. This episode I had a back and forth debate on doing, but then thought, it's too special not to do. This episode was made on June 8, 2022, which was also National Best Friend Day. Quite a coincidence, I must say, but I did it on that day on purpose. In that episode, I talked about my friendship with Kestrel, aka Onideji, which I now recognize means Demon Daisy in Japanese, and not Princess Daisy, as I originally thought. In the episode, I talked about how Kestrel and I came across each other, that being as our Rosalina OCs on Instagram on November 10th, 2020, how she inspired my creative work, most notably my comics and my OCs, our OC romances, our dedication to each other, and how we've changed each other's lives beyond our OCs and roleplaying. Like I mentioned quite a few times in previous episodes, the friendship I have with Kestrel has no doubt become the greatest friendship I've ever had in my life. Proof of this includes a drawing she made for my 20th birthday with a message stating how I was one who made them less afraid of male figures and the belief of God. The beginning of the Nickel Daisy Kestra Peach romance, us both having autism, our love for the Mario princesses, and the care and understanding we have for each other's feelings. Kestrel was no doubt someone I didn't anticipate on talking with much, because I wasn't too comfortable with talking with people online at the time. But boy, did that change in a heartbeat. And she changed my life forever. The idea for making this episode initially came 2 months before I made it. It was because I wanted to recognize it as a thank you message to Kestrel, and to share how special my friendship with them was to my other friends, since around the time I was making my return to social media. But then I decided against making it, thinking, maybe my friendship with Kestrel is too special to show. But as an alternate, I did make a note about my friendship with Kestrel, which I shared the day before our friendship was nearly destroyed by a podcast she and their boyfriend were manipulated into doing. But our friendship remained steadfast. Then I did a bit of research a couple weeks later, and realized there was a day called National Best Friend Day, which happened to land on June 8th. That's when I decided that on that day, there would be an episode in which I talked about my friendship with Kestrel. Plus, I did mention them in a previous episode in which I shared our OC romances for the first time. And like the old saying goes, the rest is history. It couldn't be more true than that. That episode was the beginning of my frequent mentions of Kestrel in my videos. I've shown my gratitude towards Kestrel in many ways. The note being one of them, and episode 16 of Angel Rise in a big way. And it's more than fitting that it's one of my favorite Angel Rise episodes of all time. Number 4, Episode 20, Hear From Your Angel. This is another episode on here that I had debated on doing, but then I felt, why not give it a go? And it paid off. This episode was released on September 1st, 2022, and it was a big milestone episode, seeing it was the 20th episode of the series. It was also the final episode I made before I moved to my grandparents' place. But what a better way to make this milestone episode about than do a Q&A. This episode had questions from Kestrel, my mother, and Kestrel's boyfriend, who here are referred to as Rome. I know his real life name, but I thought I would call him that just for privacy reasons. Rome asked me 3 questions, which were how I found YouTube, my all-time favorite video game, and my biggest life influences. My answers are as follows. For question 1, I found YouTube through tornado videos I watched on various weather websites. For question 2, my all-time favorite video game is Donkey Kong 64. And for question 3, my biggest life influences are my mother and my phys ed teacher, Mr. Crosby. As for my mother, she also asked me 3 questions. She asked me which athlete has inspired me the most, what I felt about the changes in our lives between March and September 2022, and where I see myself in 5 years. My answers? For question 1, the athlete that's inspired me the most is my favorite NASCAR driver Joey Logano, who, as of this episode, is now a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, having won his 2nd title in 2022. For question 2, the changes within that time frame were very good. My answers? For question 1, the athlete that's inspired me the most is my favorite NASCAR driver Joey Logano, who, as of this episode, is now a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, having won his 2nd title in 2022. For question 2, the changes within that time frame were very good, and had minimal stress on me. And for question 3, I see myself as an actor in 5 years. And finally from Kestrel, she asked me 2 questions. She asked if Nickel Daisy and Kestra Peach would have a child like Nickelina and Kestrelina did, and if I wanted to do an Angel Rise episode with my friends. Both of the answers were yes. For the first question, the child of Nickel Daisy and Kestra Peach ended up being a Peach OC by the name of Iris, whom I referenced back in the last episode. And for the second question, like I mentioned during the intro of this episode, the collab video will be coming sometime in the near future at the time I'm recording this. There were also a couple additional questions I came up with for myself and answered, but they will not be shared here. This was also the first time I did a premiere for an episode of Angel Rise, which I would do for episode 21 as well. As for why this episode is special to me, it's because I felt I would share my thanks to those who have viewed these videos and give them an opportunity to have their say in this podcast. And overall, recognize the welcoming environment I bring to the channel. Here on this channel, we're a family. And in the words from the Disney movie Lilo and Stitch, family means no one gets left behind. That's why episode 20 was so much of a joy to make, and one of my all-time favorite Angel Rise episodes. And finally, number 5, episode 25, Angelic Identity. Episode 25 was released on December 5th, 2022, and from what the thumbnail of the episode tells you, I talk about the development of the gender identity of my OCs. I did mention previous times prior to that episode that my OCs were male-female mixes and they were intersex, but their full identity was not truly realized until May 20th, 2022, nearly 7 months prior to the making of the episode. Based on that, this is an episode I actually never considered doing, as I already described how Nickelina and my other OCs worked, but not in full detail. That's when, sometime between September and November 2022, I considered dedicating a full episode to the identity of my OCs and the people they are attracted to. Then, about a week prior to making this episode, that's when I decided I was going to make it and give it full insight as to how my OCs identified and their romantic attractions. For those of you who don't know how my OCs identify, I'll share it with you all. They identify as bigender, intersex, and lesbian. A bigender person is someone who identifies as both male and female, which goes well with my original interpretation of my OCs being male-female mixes. An intersex person is someone who is born with sex characteristics that are not common with male or female body parts. In my OC's case, they have male genitalias instead of female ones. And a lesbian is a female who has romantic attachments specifically to other females, regardless of their sexual orientation. The term bigender I was introduced to on May 20th, 2022 by Kestrel, which, as stated before, perfectly fits with my original view of my OCs being male-female mixes. No questions asked. I love that my OCs identify the way they do because they represent who I am. While in real life, I am a straight man, and I'm attracted to women regardless of their sexual orientation, it perfectly translates to my OCs. So in turn, my OCs and I are basically the same person. Then again, they, along with Kestrel, make me realize that I've learned a lot about the LGBTQ community and understand it a lot more than I did in years past. With episode 25, I felt no shame in sharing how my OCs identified, and it definitely deserves the final place as one of my 5 favorite Angel Rise episodes I've made so far. And before this episode wraps up, here are some honorable mentions. I won't lie to you all, I've enjoyed making every single Angel Rise episode for you all so far, which did make it difficult for me to choose just 5 that I love the best. But it all worked out. And at the end of the day, they're all part of this amazing series, and are truly moments in heaven.
So, my love for the Super Mario Brothers series came completely by chance, actually.
Oh, it did?
Because around 2008, I think a few years or a year after the Wii came out, my mom was like at a party or something, and she won a Wii in like a raffle game. And I happened to be like 4 years old. And came with like Wii Sports, all the stuff that usually comes with. And we had like Mario Party 9 or something like that. I don't remember where we got it from, but I just remember having it. It was my favorite game in the world. It still is. I don't have it anymore because I lost my copy, but I do want to get it soon or later. But that's just how everything came together for me.
So that's definitely good to hear.
But there's also a period of time after I moved out of one of my houses. In my entire childhood and up to now, I've lived in around, I want to say 4 houses.
Oh, really? Holy.
Yeah, when we moved to the last house we were in, um, we didn't have any of the consoles set up anymore because I was a little bit older. And like for reference sake, for people that didn't visit my channel, I'm 18 years old. So and I was born in 2004. So that's kind of a time frame to have in your head.
Yep. Yep. My younger sister was actually born in the same year as you.
Oh, oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, that reminds me of another thing, completely off topic, but also on topic. I was born like 5 days before the year ended, so I could have been a year younger if I wasn't born yet.
Yep.
So completely by chance, I'm like born in 2004, and I probably would have been my junior year if I was born a year late.
Hmm. Yep, I can definitely see your point there.
But still, the time frame is like around, I want to say 2015, 2016. I didn't have any of my consoles anymore. I think I had a Wii U for like a few years, but then I didn't play with it anymore. I didn't have a lot of games. But around 2018, in my last year of middle school, also for everyone else, I'm from America, so I think like our description of school years it might be a little different. And I have the American school system, obviously, so I think I was around 8th grade. I, for reference, also am physically disabled, kind of. I have really disjointed hips, and my legs don't work that well. So I was in physical therapy, and they suggested, like, oh, you should do stuff at home, like exercise and all that stuff. And then we remembered we have a Wii in our garage, and we had Wii Fit, so we're like, perfect, we could just use that at home. And then we found my Wii U, and since I was 14 years old, I started liking video games again.
That's definitely interesting to know.
Yeah, for a big portion of my life, I didn't really play video games a lot.
The same can be said a little bit for me.
But yeah, for ever since then, I haven't stopped playing video games. I get into new franchises all the time too, so it's not really just exclusively Mario. But that's like my main thing, my main interest.
Yeah, Super Mario is my main interest as well, but over the years, I've also taken interest in Fire Emblem and the EA Sports NHL games.
Me, I've also gotten into like other like types of games outside of like Nintendo ones. Obviously, if you've seen my YouTube channel, I like rhythm games. But the other Nintendo series I like are like ARMS and Splatoon.
Hmm, that's interesting to know.
And I like one other like PC mobile game. I like My Singing Monsters. I wanted to make content for it, but it's kind of hard to
Okay.
because I'd have to get a screen recording software for my laptop. But even then, my laptop, because I have to use Steam to play it, I can't connect my save data from my iPad actually. And I'm up to like level 19, and I have a bunch of stuff that I can't like trace back to my laptop.
Okay.
But I've been talking a lot, and this is your podcast. Why don't you tell your story about how you've gotten into Mario and stuff like that?
This sounds good to me. Well, for me, how I got into Super Mario was when I was around 5 or 6. Yeah, and my older sisters and my father and myself would often play on the Nintendo 64. Usually playing Mario Kart 64.
I've actually never touched an N64 before. I've only had the emulator from the expansion pass for the Switch.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah, I'm like pretty young, but I'm surprised I've never seen an N64 like in front of my face or touched the controllers.
oh my goodness. Well, maybe if they're still around, maybe you could get one.
Yeah, I've heard they're pretty cheap nowadays. So maybe I could get my hands on one sometime in the future.
Okay. Well, anyways, continuing on with my side of the story, another part which really got me into the Super Mario series was also the Wii. Well, in the first game I got on there, well, what was of course Wii Sports. But oftentimes, I would watch my older sister play Super Mario Galaxy, and that's how I first heard of Rosalina.
My first hearing of Rosalina is completely different. Like I've mentioned, I have a Wii U. I didn't own Mario Galaxy. I didn't have a lot of games because I didn't have really a bunch of money growing up to be getting games. So I only had like a handful. But the way I found her was Mario Kart 8.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, when I won my first cup, which took like forever, by the way, um, I unlocked her, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this character is beautiful. I love her. I wonder what other game she's in."
Yep. Well, I really didn't get to know Rosalina like until around April of 2016 because around the time I was interested in the Disney movie Frozen, and one of the characters, Elsa, kind of looked like Rosalina.
Yeah, I remember I had a sticker of Rosalina on, I think, like my sketchbook or my water bottle, and everybody kept being like, "Oh my god, you have Frozen stickers." I'm like, "This is Rosalina from the Mario series."
Yeah,
It
yep,
was mostly people my age, and everyone around that like 2004 or 5 grew up with the Wii.
mm, yep. Yeah, but I can definitely see why people could get confused there. Oh my goodness.
That was the only thing stopping me from dressing up as her for Halloween at my high school. Because I've been every princess so far,
Oh yes,
and this is like my last year here, so no one will get to really see my costumes that isn't my friends.
oh, got it.
But yeah, back to your story.
Yeah, yes, but yeah, back to my story. So another game I was really into, well, that really got me into the Super Mario series was Mario Super Sluggers. Oh my god, I love that game so much.
I love that game too. It's so fun.
Yes, especially the expressions of the characters. I mean, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, it's
They're just perfect.
yeah, absolutely perfect. And especially Daisy's animations, like I really love her animations.
Yes. I love Daisy's stuff so much. It's my favorite.
Yep, yep. I especially love her strikeout looking animation where she just turns around, looks behind the point, and just flicks her hair back. I mean, oh my goodness, that just represents her character so freaking well.
It does. It's just like encapsulates her like right in that moment.
Yeah.
The only game I could think that comes up to that level of like expressing the characters is Strikers for like Wii and GameCube.
Oh yes, Strikers. Yep, I gotta tell you, the Strikers games are so good.
I love them so much. I actually didn't get to play them until I was like 14, 15.
Oh my.
I didn't get to experience a lot of games until that time.
Yeah, and well, let me tell you, Kestrel, the first time I played Mario Strikers was Battle League last year. I mean, I haven't touched a single Mario Strikers game until Battle League last year.
Oh, wow. You definitely gotta try the one for the Wii, because I like the GameCube one, but Wii is just like, I don't know, that feels like the best one for me.
Yeah, I'm really considering getting Mario Strikers Charge for the Wii. Yes, I've
It's a little bit harder than Battle League, because I played Strikers before, I know, Charged. I played Charged before Battle League came out, like way before Battle League.
hmm. Okay.
And I've had an easier time with Battle League than I did the Wii.
I've considered getting Mario Strikers Charge for the Wii for quite a few years. Yep, and I just really haven't got around to getting it.
It's definitely worth it.
Maybe since my birthday is coming up, I'll get it.
Yeah, that's usually when I get all the stuff that I consider. Like, there was Splatoon games that I didn't have that wasn't 3, and I got to, like, my computer and all that stuff because I've been needing a new computer for years.
Okay. The computer I've had since summer of 2020.
I just got this one, like, few days after my birthday.
Hmm. Well,
Because, my god, I got a bunch of money for my birthday.
holy, like, hmm,
I almost had, like $600.
holy crap! Oh my god!
I bought a bunch of stuff with it.
Oh man. Well, as for me, I didn't get a whole ton of money for Christmas, but yeah, but I got around like at least $200, and I haven't spent any of it yet. I'm just saving up.
That's still good, though. I was just eager to use my money because I saw the opportunity to get a new laptop, so I went right for it.
I definitely get your point there.
I did buy a bunch of other stuff, but it's more something I'd share like in private.
Got it.
But yeah, back to the topic.
Yes, so yeah, but back to the topic at hand. Yes, when I was playing Mario Super Sluggers, I would oftentimes, just play as Mario and Luigi because I really wasn't too much into the princesses back then. But in 2016, around the time I started getting into Rosalina, I thought, oh, Peach and Daisy are there as well. Why not get into the two of them as well?
Yeah, my like whole liking of the princess characters started with Daisy, even though like the character I originally made back in 2020 was a Rosalina clone. Daisy has always been like my preferred character.
I can definitely see that. Well, as for me, it started off with Donkey Kong because I played Donkey Kong 64 a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, but then it came on to Mario and Luigi. But then in 2016, it just shifted to the Mario princesses.
I've always kind of liked the princesses, not all of them for some reason when I was younger. It was literally just only Daisy. That's all I liked, only Daisy.
Okay.
Like my mind just like tunnel visioned only on her and I'd be like so upset if I never got to play as her.
Okay.
Like I have a really distinct memory of playing Mario Party with my mom, like Mario Party 9, like the one on the Wii. She picked Daisy and I was so upset and like I almost started crying.
Oh dear.
But she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll just pick Peach." And then I was fine.
Okay. Well, for me, I've primarily sticked with Rosalina because I do see a bit of myself in Rosalina. I mean, the kind demeanor, the honesty, and the care. I mean, I feel Rosalina is just basically. I honestly have no words to describe how perfect Rosalina is.
That's kind of how I feel about Daisy. Like the way you like described how you feel about her, that's exactly like how I connected with Daisy when I was younger and still do to like this day.
I definitely have to agree with that. I mean, our favorite characters really do have an interesting way of portraying who we are as human beings.
That's usually what my favorite characters say about me. Like all the time if I have like a character I fixate on for like a period of time, my friends like always think, "Oh, that's just Kestrel's character. That's like that's her."
Hmm. Okay.
But like the real like deep personal reason that I have a connection with Daisy is because like she was like the first one of the first princesses I've ever seen that looked like me. Cause I grew up watching Disney too, and I at the time I don't remember like how long ago this was, but I haven't seen a princess that has like a bit of a darker skin and darker hair. That's why I love Daisy so much, cause like when I would look her up like on like family computer, I'd see pictures of her with like darker skin, and I'd be like, "Wow, she looks like me. I really like her."
Yeah, I have to admit, you and her did definitely look alike. It's especially with some of your OCs. I feel it's just it's just perfect.
Yeah, that's why I've always resonated with Daisy, cause like around the time I was growing up, it was kind of hard to see a character that looked like me.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can definitely see your point there. Well, as for me, like I mentioned before, I resonate myself a lot with Rosalina, even though she looks nothing like me. I mean, if she had red hair and a blue dress, she would have been perfect.
That's kind of a little bit how I feel about Daisy, because I love seeing her in a pink dress. That's why I love her inclusion in Smash Brothers. She has a pink costume.
Oh yes. Yep, and I also like that that Daisy has a blue costume as well.
Yeah, her blue costume is really pretty because like some of the accents are like purple, and I'm such a big like fanatic about colors, like colors mixing well together. It's my favorite.
Yep, I definitely have to agree. Colors have they sure have a pretty interesting way of presenting themselves.
And that's why like me drawing takes like forever because I mix colors all the time and like I have like intricate shading and lighting.
Yeah, well, in my books, when it comes to color palettes, I'm usually not too picky about them. Well, I like to mix and match with them and just see how it works.
Yeah, that's kind of where we differ on colors, which isn't bad, but like it just like goes to show like even with our little differences, we still like pretty good friends.
Even before I met you, Kestrel, I even once tried experimenting with how pink and blue work together, and I found it weird at first, but ever since I met you, I just felt that those colors could just work absolutely perfect together.
They really do. The contrasting isn't too jarring, it's just like the perfect amount.
Yeah, yep, nothing too big and nothing too small, just absolutely perfect.
It's kind of like at least the colors that we use for Castrolina and Nicolina, it looks like sunset at like kind of during dawn time.
I've never thought of it that way before.
I've thought of it like that, like Nicolina's like royal blue. I think that's the color, royal blue dress as like an ocean of sorts, and Castrolina's pink as like the sunset sky.
I never knew about that before.
I always liked looking at the sky, especially like around that time because sometimes it changes colors and it's just so amazing to look at.
Yeah, now that I think of it, yeah, I definitely have to agree.
That's also why I was super eager when you asked me if you could ship Castrolina and Nicolina because I was like, yes, their color palettes are amazing. I really want to see more of them together. It's going to be so just amazing to look at.
Hmm. I never knew you thought that before. Yeah, because when I was thinking of shipping Nicolina with Castrolina, I really, I really just did it to, to show my appreciation for you. But now that I think of it, if it's just, I'm honestly lost for words. I can't even describe how perfect it was.
It's just like probably one of my favorite ships, and I have a bunch of them like outside of like Mario stuff, like all the other stuff that I'm into. Like it's like pretty much up there with the other ships I like from other fandoms. Even though it's something we created, it's still up there with like other people's creations and ships.
Getting back on track with how we got into the Mario princesses. In late 2016, around Halloween, which was around the time I really started getting into drawing the Mario princesses, and honestly, they were the only characters I would draw. Like you could not convince me otherwise to draw someone outside of Rosalina, Peach, or Daisy.
That's kind of how I get with drawing, even now.
Yep. And I would even do certain themes with the Mario princesses, like school spirits, sports, music, horror, all those kinds of things.
I actually didn't draw the princesses as much as I did when I was like a bit younger. Now I'm thinking back on it.
Before we met, are there like were there like any specific ways that you drew the Mario princesses?
Mm, around my freshman year, literally all I would draw was all three of them. And then like my old Mario Princess OC, Princess Pamela. I don't use her as much anymore, but she's still around.
Yes, I do remember you. I do remember you just showing me her once before.
I made her when I was 7, actually.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah, she was way different looking from before. Um, I like revamped her my freshman year.
Okay.
She used to be like she used to kind of look like Daisy and Peach like mixed together.
Okay.
And like her original concept was she was the second princess of Sarasaland because I love Daisy, but when I got older and back into the Mario series, I was like, hey, I remember that character I made like so many years ago. I should try to remake her.
I can definitely see your point there.
But I don't really use her as much because I really like Kestrelina. And she's like my favorite, like the pink one mostly.
Yeah, this is the same thing with me and Nicolina. And Nicolina is just my primary OC.
I do have like a primary OC outside of like the Rosalina ones, which isn't shown a lot like on my social medias except my Instagram because that's where I post like all my artwork and stuff. But like I don't even know if I should go on topic about him because like it's completely unrelated to the Mario series. It's like an original creation, like from scratch, from like the inside of my head. Shira. It was actually the first one made for that whole like story, even though he's not the main character.
Ooh, that's really cool, Kestrel.
I guess I can talk about it. It's a very simple story from where he came from. It started my like not late, but like around the the middle of my freshman year before Christmas break. We were assigned to like make an original story that was like a few paragraphs long, and I wanted to just go full on out with it. And like I had this like fan character from like something that I liked when I was like 10, 12. And I was like, maybe I should put that character to use. It was not the best written character, and I thought I could rework it, put it in something new, and then create a whole passion project. I'm still writing it to this day.
Okay. Oh, and also for fun fact, guys, the Kestrel's OC Shira is actually bi gender, like my OCs are.
That's also where I kind of like stepped in that one day. It was just like, I found this term for my OC. I think it could work for yours. And I was like thinking about it for a few days, and then I finally just was like, yeah, this could work for you. I don't know if you would like it or not, but it works. And turns out you did. And I'm kind of proud of myself for that.
Yep, I actually never heard of the term bi gender before you introduced it to me. I used to refer to my OCs as male female mixes.
Yeah, I remember that from when we first met each other.
Yep.
That's kind of what drew me in, like, aside from, like, the actual, like, main reason, which we could get into once we actually discuss how we met. Because that also kind of ties into it.
hmm The next topic is us talking about how our OCs came to be.
You could go first, because mine's kind of long.
So I first created my OC Nicolina on March 17th, 2020 as my show of appreciation for my favorite Mario character, which is Rosalina. As time progressed, Nicolina really became just more and more of the center point of the characters I drew. And to this day, I mostly draw my OCs and your OCs compared to when I would draw just the actual characters. I mostly draw my OCs and your OCs compared to when I would draw just the actual characters.
Yeah, I remember before you deleted your Instagram account, like the first one, I really wanted to see like more of the stuff you did, and I noticed like before the Nicolina account was made, that's really all you drew, which isn't bad. I just was like, whoa, that's pretty cool that he could consistently draw these characters so often.
Yep. Okay, moving on to my next OC, which I created, which was Nick Helena. She was created on June 11th, 2020, more or less as an evil clone to Nicolina. But as time progressed, I decided to make Nick Helena almost his own character. Well, basically the representation of my own bad thoughts.
Yeah, that's also like kind of what like the evil Castrolina, like Dark Castrolina is supposed to be. They were two one the same, but like more explaining when I explain like how like who Castrolina is, I could explain more how it actually works.
Oh, and not long after I created Nick Helena, I started to visualize in my mind that Nicolina is the true representation of myself. So basically, in other terms, Nicolina and I are almost the same person. It was from a comic in June 2020 that I put Nicolina in the comic to recognize my appreciation for my time at high school. And that's where Nicolina really started to take over my life.
Honestly, I can't really imagine like your Princess comic series without Nicolina. It's kind of like a big staple now.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, Nicolina is basically the star of my comic series. I mean, yeah, but where would my comic series be today without him?
I honestly don't know, and I don't want to imagine because it probably wouldn't be like as awesome as I think it is.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I honestly don't think it would be as exciting as with just the actual characters. I mean, just like putting yourself in comics, like as an OC representation, just really speaks a lot more about creation.
It really does. That's why like most of like the art that is about like myself or something about myself has like that little cartoony character which doesn't even share my name, but it is me. Her name is literally just Persona.
Okay.
But I do relate to like using a character that looks like yourself to like kind of just like have an appreciation for whatever it is you're putting out in the world.
Yep, and even when I created Nicolina, I even put some of my own facial features on myself, like the freckles on my face and my beard.
Yeah, that's like one of the, like the first things I noticed when I came across your account, and I thought it was like super cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I really felt I should make Nicolina stand out from like other OCs. Not necessarily like be a recolor, but just like an actual character, like as opposed to a recolor.
Yeah, I normally don't see a lot of characters with at least like from what I've seen like on the internet, I haven't seen a lot of characters share like actual features from their creators that aren't like physical drawings of themselves.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Continuing on with my other OCs. Well, the next OC I created was my Luma OC Paris, who I created back in November of 2020, not long after I met you, Kestrel.
Yeah, I kind of noticed Paris when I first saw everything was like relatively new.
Yeah, and to be honest, when I was debating on Paris's name, yeah, I was honestly unsure if I should name her like after my hometown, because it did kind of feel.
I think it's cool that you did.
Oh, you think so, Kestrel?
Yeah, I like like hearing like the backstory why people name their characters the way they do.
Hmm. Well, I definitely appreciate that.
I just love hearing like my friends and stuff talking about like their creations.
Hmm. Yeah. But I can definitely see your point there, Kestrel. And after November 2020, it really just was Nicolina, and Paris as my three OCs. But then, just 6 days before Nicolina's 1 year anniversary, was when I created Nickel Daisy.
I remember when Nickel Daisy was created. Like the exact day I like remember it because I didn't really know that you made him at all. I was like, is someone like trying to make an OC of what like Nicholas without even asking? I got like freaked out because I thought someone was like trying to just like rip off your whole style. Because I've seen that happen before, like in the recolor community.
Hmm. Yeah. But if someone were to rip off my style, oh boy.
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
I get really upset over it, so I'd definitely be there to, like, to defend you over it.
Yeah. Yep. Honestly, if someone were to rip off some of my content, oh boy, you wouldn't know how angry I would have been. I remember this happening to you with one of your Peach OCs, that being Apple.
Yeah, I'm still mad about it to this day because that account's still up.
And honestly, I didn't even know that Apple was being messed with until you like told me. I thought you made the Apple account, but it turns out you didn't.
No, I never made an account for Apple. I only had one for, like, Rose and Kestrelina at the time.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, but still.
So that, like, really just, like, made me, like, pissed because I was like, "Dude, you I know it's just a peach, like, kind of recolor, but, like, why? Why can't you just make your own?" You take my character and then start using it, like, a way I don't want her to be used.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get, like, real mad at you, and I don't like getting mad at people at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't like getting mad either, but yeah, but at the same time, it,
Sometimes really people just really bring it out of me.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's honestly the one thing that really pisses me off is just that my OCs would get assumed to be as straight females. I mean, just what the hell?
Ugh, I hate that. You know why? Because it happens with Shira. That happens all the time with Shira.
Oh, oh Jesus Christ!
That's why I didn't publish the Friday Night Funkin' mod with Shira, because there's a bigender character in there, like, Taki. He's by gender, and people all the time are just like, "Oh, Taki's just a woman, just a woman." No, he's like a bigender alien.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, I'm not about to have my pride and joy like completely wrecked by some people for no reason.
Honestly, the biggest example, of my OCs being assumed as straight females is no question my abuse.
Yeah, that like when I finally like he told me and it, like clicked in my head, I was just like, oh, why didn't I do something? Because like I'm like the biggest protector of all my friends. And I like still kind of beat myself up to this day for letting that happen.
Yeah, me as well.
I just feel bad because like I was there. I was like right there and I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to assume anything.
yeah, and honestly, I didn't even know that you were suspicious that something was going on with me.
I'm like a big worrywart, so like I always like think like something bad might be happening. I kind of thought that. when I like saw you and that beast talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I did feel good at first, but boy do I regret it now. Oh my god.
Yeah, it could feel good for a second because you're getting like manipulated into it, and it's like, oh, they're making me think this is good, this is nice. No, it's not. You realize it too late, and then you feel terrible about it.
Yeah, and it's just... Yeah, it's...
And like, I'm gonna tell you, as like, this is kind of sad to say, but from like experience of my own, it's really not your fault. It really isn't.
I can definitely understand your point there. Yeah, I often do think sometimes it was my fault because right off the bat I knew he was trouble, but his manipulative skills just yeah, it,
That's just how manipulators are. You can't control a manipulator.
yeah, manipulators are just yeah yeah yeah, thinking back on it, yeah, I was no question manipulated.
You should really beat yourself up about it. If it was anybody's fault, it's his fault for even thinking about even doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. I do kind of fear that something's going on with you and Kestrelina.
No, surprisingly, the male character she's with, he never talks to me, so. In the past year, he's only messaged me like twice, and even then, like, I think you kind of get that I'm like terrible at responding to text messages. So over half the time, I like respond with like one or two words.
Yep, and yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, after my abuse at the hands of Texic, I honestly now hate those male Mario OCs so freaking much. Like,
And I can honestly get it.
yeah, whenever I think about them, I honestly just go off in an instant.
That's kind of how I am when I think about people who hurt me. And sadly, that's a lot of people, but I don't think really it's something to get into right now.
Yeah, yeah, but
Because we could be here forever if I was talking about people who hurt me.
yeah. Honestly, yeah, but yeah, that's definitely something for another time.
Yeah. Probably like somewhere like on the server or something. Because I don't mind it. It's just like I don't want to like talk all about it on the podcast, you know?
Yep, and honestly, I totally understand that.
Anyways, where were we at in the topic?
I was just finishing talking about Nickel Daisy.
Okay, let's go back onto that.
Right. So when I created Nickel Daisy, I initially thought of him, as just a regular Daisy recolor. But as time went on, much like with Nicolina, I decided to give Nickel Daisy like part of my personality, and in more specific terms, my defensive side. Whenever I sense something happening to any of my loved ones, I get pretty defensive pretty quickly.
Yeah, I do too.
So that's really what Nickel Daisy represents in me. Yeah, the desire to protect their loved ones no matter what. Yeah, but it really wasn't implemented until like May and last year. When we did a roleplay on my Discord server when Nickel Daisy was defending Kestra Peach.
I loved that roleplay. Like I love all of them, but like I always have like the ones that stick out to me.
Yeah, that one definitely sticks out to me the most.
Same here.
And then after Nickel Daisy was created, I never considered making a Peach OC, but but in June 2021, I decided, what the heck, create a Peach OC. and that's when Nicole Peach came around. She was created on June 16th, 2021.
She's like one of the characters that like I think about a little bit more that isn't like Nicolina, but it's like I said, I love colors and I love the dress colorings. Like the more the white instead of the blue looks really pretty.
Yep, I initially was thinking of giving Nicole Peach an all blue dress with white details, but I thought, why not give him a white dress instead? Just to make her like stand out from Nicolina and Nicole Daisy.
She definitely does. It's like a real good kind of standing out. Like she's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, Kestrel.
No problem.
Getting back to the Nicolina side of my OCs, well, I first created Nicole Daisy on May 28th, 2021. And this is when, when my understanding of my bad thoughts were starting to come together. I thought of Nicole Daisy, as as the raging fire within me, like a fire of anger.
That's kind of how I see some of my like evil OCs. Like the one that was featured in one of the poems, Zombie Queen Kestra Peach.
Oh yes, and I oftentimes shift Nicole Daisy with Zombie Queen Kestra Peach, because of course Nicole Daisy is shipped with Kestra Peach.
Yeah, so like it makes sense for them to know each other like that.
Yes, I honestly, I honestly have this feeling in my head that if good OCs are together, then their evil counterparts should be together as well.
Yeah, that's like how I think about it all the time.
And as for Nicole Peach, I created him back on July 5th, 2021. From what many of you viewers could tell uh, from my poem about Nicole Peach and from episode 17 of Angel Rise, Nicole Peach has the ability to inject venom into his victims.
I really liked that concept when it was first introduced because I like kind of other species characters.
The reason I made Nicole Peach have venom is the fact that it is the belief of anger being a poison in your mind. And also around the time I was very obsessed with snakes, and I still am to this day.
Ugh, I really wish I could relate. I've always been freaked out by snakes.
Oh.
That's like the only time I've ever like enjoyed like some snake-like features is Nickel Peach.
Yeah, I can definitely understand your point there. My mother absolutely hates snakes.
I mean, I like to look at them at a distance. I just don't want to be around them. Freak me out.
Okay. And also, getting back to Nickel Peach also has the ability to hiss, which honestly I think is the best part about his character.
I think it's like kind of like cute, but also like another like oh that also adds to like him being kind of creepy. Because like it's unnatural for a person to hiss, but like it's kind of cute.
Yeah, I feel I feel Nickel Peach hissing definitely puts a lot more character into him. Like she's some sort of snake queen.
That's a good concept, actually. I really like that.
Yeah, and honestly, I have been debating, whether to make Nickel Peach more or less a snake queen, but I haven't really fulfilled it. Yeah, but now that I think of it,
I could definitely help out with it. I love creating stuff.
oh, I would definitely like your help on that, Kestrel.
Yeah, I'm most of the time available, so like I could definitely help out with making like some stuff for him.
Speaking of creations, I feel we should get on to the OC romances, if that's okay.
I didn't get to explain Kestrelini yet.
Oh, right. I have not much else to talk about, of my primary OCs, so I'll let you go ahead and explain your OCs.
I could just explain her and we could go on to that topic after. So Kestrelina actually was made the exact same day I made the account for her. And the reason I got like the idea like, oh, a Rosalina character would be cool is because I met Tylerina in a roleplay chat with like some other people, and I was like, dude, this character is like super cool. I want to make my own. That would be like so awesome. And so I picked my favorite colors and I just came up with like a bunch of designs. Which most I don't have pictures of anymore, but there's only one old Kestrelina design that I still have. But she's basically been the same since 2020, with like some differences, but they're like not too big.
Yeah, the only real change with Castrolina that really has been seen is the change of her hair color.
Yeah, the hair color like fluctuated a bunch in the beginning, but I eventually settled on this like kind of like dingy platinum blonde looking color.
To me, Castrolina's hair looks kind of silver, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like silver, but like it still has like saturation inside. Like it's not completely gray, it still has like the hints of like blonde inside.
Yep, and I'm gonna be honest, the color combination choice that you have for Castrolina, I honestly really love.
Thank you. I actually like struggled so like much with like the shade of pink to use. But I stuck with the one that's used for like her costume in Smash Ultimate in 4.
So basically, you kind of like a flamingo or bubblegum pink, if I'm correct.
Yeah, like that kind of color.
And also the light blue earrings. I really like those.
Yeah, I remember when I first made her, I was like, this should have a little bit more than just like pinks and like magentas. I should use a contrasting color. And like I sat there for like 10 minutes straight. I swear it was 10 minutes. Just like, what color works with this shade of pink? And then I got hungry and I was like, I kind of want some like cotton candy ice cream. Cotton candy ice cream. Cotton candy ice cream is usually blue and pink. And then I was just like, yes, her earrings should be like teal. So basically, it came to me because I was hungry.
Oh.
So if I wasn't particularly hungry when I was making her, her earrings probably wouldn't be teal.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm
It
good.
would have ended up being like purple or something.
That honestly has to be one of the most hilarious origin stories for a character I've ever heard of. Oh my god.
Yeah, most of my like design choices for my characters come from like probably like the most like minimal things. Like I'll think about something and be like, yeah, okay, I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
And like the eye color was super hard for me to like pick. I wanted her to have like matching pink eyes or like purple to contrast, so I just stuck right down the middle in magenta.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Kestrel, those magenta eyes are absolutely perfect.
They look like gems almost because it really like pops out from like the rest of her face.
Yeah, it stands out a lot. I honestly love the color magenta so much.
It's a really good color. Like it's a good shade of pink, but I'm always just like I love pink. So it's kind of like in the middle for me because I like purple too, but I mostly really like pink.
Okay.
But yeah, like Castrolina was like made like within the day of like me like coming up with the idea. And then like hours later I was like, I should make an account to follow this up because I don't want to just make a character and do nothing with it.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you mean.
So I made that account and I've usually been using it more than I do any other account. And then after her, I think I made Apple next. And she was the character. Her and like the Daisy character were like had the most changes because before they used to have white dresses with like purple or pink accents, but then that was like super difficult for me to edit at the time because I didn't have the software I use now.
Hmm.
So I completely dropped the design and switched Apple to be like a red character because red apples, and I thought it was cute.
Yep, it definitely makes sense.
You can definitely tell I was hungry making a lot of these characters because they're like really like based on food.
Oh my god.
Dude, I'm not even joking. Like every time I made a new character, I was so hungry. Because it was during the pandemic and we were like at home all the time. I had my sophomore year online and I didn't have the schedule of eating like that they give us at school. So like all the time I'd forget to feed myself. And then I'm like trying to make more characters and I'm like, dude, what do I do? I'm really craving this thing. How about I go eat that? And then I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that's perfect for my character.
Oh my, oh my. Yep, yep, I'm gonna be honest with you, Kestrel. It's amazing, you know, how you think of your OCs like on the spot, like when you are hungry. It's crazy. Oh my god.
It's kind of stopped now because I've kind of been like more on like feeding myself because I'm getting older and I won't, and I need to start like thinking about it. I'm like, I'm hungry. I should eat now instead of like being like, oh, I'll eat later, and then I'm like super hungry.
Hmm. Gotcha.
I had that problem all throughout middle school and like a little bit of high school.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, that's like a bunch of my characters were made that way.
Hmm.
Except for the Daisy one. I was completely like well fed during that, so
Hmm. Gotcha.
the Daisy went through so many changes. I'm pretty sure you can remember. She went through so many changes. I was never happy with what I came up with because I could never just find the right thing that I wanted.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. You've changed up that Daisy OC so many times. Yeah, she started off as purple to today having Kestrelina's colors.
Which I thought would be like a pretty nice contrast from Apple because she's a like red, like that's also like in the family of like pink colors.
Hmm.
That's usually how I come up with the colors is they share like some sort of part on the wheel.
Hmm. Okay.
Like pinks, purples, and reds are usually like right together and they work well. That's why the original concept was pink, purple, and red. I still kept the red because it's pretty, but I just was really never happy with Rose. And I finally got it.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone, Rose is Kestrel's pink Daisy OC. She is the sister to Kestrelina and Apple.
Yeah, like I always have weird like origin stories of where my characters like come from because like I'll be bored and out of my mind and then I'm just like I could really like get creative right now. And where Rose like the final design that's used today, I was like I think I was waiting at the orthodontist of all places. Like I was laying back in the chair, like getting ready to get my braces worked on and I'm just like, "Oh my god, I need to create a new Daisy."
So that's how you came up with the idea for Rose?
Yeah, for some reason, because like not really for some reason, I was thinking about pink because my braces are also pink, and I was like, pink, pink, pink. My Daisy, she should be pink.
Yeah, you can never have too much pink.
And there's no such thing as too much pink. Where in my house, at least, especially my bedroom, all pink. Lights are pink. Majority of my wall decorations are pink. I surprisingly do not have pink sheets.
Oh, wait, you have pink sheets?
I said, I surprisingly don't. You would think I do, but I really don't.
Oh, you do. Oh, yeah, I honestly thought that you did. Oh my god.
My sheets are just like plain black,
Hmm, gotcha.
but I have a bunch of other pink things. Like, we have like the same Princess Peach blanket, so I have that.
Oh yes, yes, I remember. We got the exact same peach blanket for Christmas last year. Holy crap!
I just can't ever use it because I already have like 3 blankets on my bed.
Oh, well, I tend to use my peach blanket quite a bit.
I use it when I like take naps or something that aren't in my bedroom. Like if I'm in like the living room or something, and I'm like, no, I really got a nap, but I don't want to go back to my room. I'll just like use my peach blanket.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to think of the other character. Dark Castellina. I remember I was going to talk about that. Okay. Dark Castellina was originally supposed to be a representative of some crazy thoughts that I get when other people talk to my boyfriend. Because the only other person that knows that I'm like that is, well, my boyfriend, that I get like so protective of him if he talks to anybody else that like is like a girl.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot of like other partners before. Not a lot, but like a lot for like my age. But it's like I've gotten cheated on before, and I'm like always terrified of that happening again, even though I know he would never do that to me. And I just still have that habit of being like, leave him alone. That he's mine, no. And originally, Dark Castellina was supposed to be that, but now she's just like straight up like crazy and evil. Not just like crazy for like the people she loves. Well, still she is, but it's more just a sense of like utter madness.
Yes, so basically kind of like a Nick Helena like type, if I'm correct.
Yeah, she's mostly like that's why I gave her the voice of like the kind of antagonist from Arms, Dr. Coyle, because that's just kind of what I always pictured her sounding like.
Yep.
Because like I never use her much in role plays, but she's crazy and like just crazy evil, like around Shira levels of evil, and Shira's like from hell.
Yep. Well, now that I think of it, maybe we should use Dark Castrolina more in roleplays, considering how crazy she can be.
Because like her whole being is just like my basically like inner thoughts when like someone like makes me angry or it's just straight up being rude to me for no reason. Because when I get angry, it's just like it's terrible. Like from what I've been told by other people.
Hmm. Well, it's kind of the same thing for me with Nick Helena, but sometimes I would get mad. I would think about somebody's gonna die today.
Yeah, that's kind of how it gets for me. Because like when I'm angry, it's not very often, and it's mostly when someone does something to me. I'm not just angry because I'm like, oh, I want to be angry today. No, somebody did something to me, and I'm just so ticked off.
Yes, and my angry thoughts is when really Nick Helena gets into play. And I would just go like on this murderous rampage without any regard for human life.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like on the inside. I'm just like, oh my god, please stop. I'm literally going to hurt you. I don't want to. I don't like hurting people.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't like hurting people either.
Luckily, I never really guess that's pretty rare, but it does happen.
Yep. But it's also in part, why I created a demonic version of Nicolina, like apart from Nick Helena, misunderstood Nicolina.
Oh yeah, I like the way that he looks because it's like a half and half, like kind of a halfway point of like the designs.
Hmm. Yeah, Nicolina in his misunderstood form really just represents his inner sorrow and his desire to want to get back at those that hurt him.
I really like that concept, like a lot.
Yep. Thank you, Kestrel.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If I ever get like angry or like really upset, I either transition to either Nicolina or misunderstood Nicolina. But lately it's been more of misunderstood Nicolina.
I have no idea how I feel when I get upset because mostly it's just me being sad. I don't get angry too often. It's often for me because like I actually did get diagnosed with depression.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little bit lost for words about that.
Yeah, kind of how I felt when I first got it. I was just like, wow, really? Why? I've had pretty much a rough run, but things are turning out better as I get older.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Anyways, let's continue on with your OCs.
So I'm trying to think about like more of the other characters because Apple and Rose really don't have a different form. And it'd take me forever to get through all the OCs that I've made because I just really like creating stuff.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to think of more that I could talk about. I guess Kest Repeat since she's featured a bunch on this channel.
Yeah, because I often talk about Nickel Daisy being shipped with her.
Yeah, Kester Peach was the first of like the yellow characters I made because I thought it would be nice to make a character that isn't just pink. And I remember like first making her look almost exactly like Peach. It wasn't very different of how I look in real life. So I think around a few months later, thought maybe she should look like me with at the time my natural hair color and my glasses. That was really the last time her design was tweaked, besides when I colored my hair, which I still plan on having for like years because I love pink and I want to keep my hair pink as long as I can.
I honestly love the pink in your hair. I think you look really nice like that.
Thank you. I like it's super tough to keep up, but like I love having it
Yep.
because my hair's like a real dark brown, like almost black, and it's hard to actually bleach my hair because it's so dark to get that neon color.
Yeah, I can definitely tell with some of the first edits you made of your yellow OCs with the pink hair. They look more reddish.
Yeah, because at first it was really hard to get my hair done. So for the longest time, I had like this pinkish red color. So I kept them like that until I actually got my hair like neon pink.
Hmm.
But like honestly, I can't see myself or my characters with my natural hair color anymore.
I'm gonna be honest. I do kind of feel the same way. Because honestly, I think your OCs do look a lot better with the pink hair.
Yeah, it gives them like a little bit more personality than just my natural hair color.
I can definitely see your point there.
Anyways, that's really all I got about my characters, so we can move on to the topic of how our characters got together.
Sounds good to me. All right, then let's get into it.
So the first like romance was Kester Peach and Nickel Daisy, which it was an edit that I first made, like just because I thought it would be like kind of cute to put them together. I didn't think much of it when I first made it.
Honestly, looking back on it now, I honestly really felt it was the start of something special.
I didn't think like anyone or you really would care too much for the ship because I was just like, oh, it's just something I thought would look really adorable. I don't think it's really gonna do anything, and it actually did. So I'm not like too terribly disappointed by it.
Yeah, honestly, I do. I feel the same way too.
I'm more happy than anything, if I'm being honest.
I initially thought it was going to be something special, but I didn't think too much of it. When you made a post on your old Kestra Peach account that said that Kestra Peach was Nickel Daisy's girlfriend, that's when I thought, poof, those two should be together for as long as we are friends.
Yeah, that ship, I'm like super glad it took off because I couldn't really imagine them being with anyone else.
Yep, and then exactly to 2 weeks after you made that post, the knot was officially tied.
Yeah, because initially I was just like, this ship is gonna be so cute, but I don't know what actually is going to happen. I should just post this anyways because it's a cute edit.
Yep, I honestly couldn't agree more.
And that's probably like one of the biggest milestones, like within the characters at least. And I honestly thought that was like just it. I was just like, okay, these characters are together now. That's really cute. And then like you started like posting stuff in the Discord server of like Kestrelina and Nicolina. I was like, those are super cute, like real good friends, like before anything happened.
Yeah, before I originally thought of Nicolina and Kestrelina as a ship, I really thought of them as just really good friends.
Yeah, that's what I was like thinking. I was just like, oh, they are such amazing friends, just like me and Nicholas. That's really awesome and cool. I didn't think it would ever become more, which I'm still like super glad about.
Yeah, to be honest, I never had any intentions of putting Nicolina in a romance. Considering, in real life, I am single and not pretty keen on getting a partner.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I thought to myself, maybe I should give it a try.
Yeah, because with characters, it's just completely different.
Yep, and that's when on November 29th, 2021, that's when I officially asked you if Nicolina and Kestrelina could be a couple.
I was like super surprised when like I first got the message. I was like, oh, I did not know that. That's really cool though. I don't really mind.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I didn't think you would accept that.
I really don't post stuff that often unless it's like really terrible, but like nothing you've done is like that is like terrible at all. So like I don't know why I would say no.
Yeah, considering how open-minded you are, I feel it does make sense.
Yeah, I usually like to keep an open mind on stuff. I don't like want to just be like, "Oh, I don't understand that. I'm not going to pay any mind to that. I don't like that." So usually I just try to give everything at least one shot.
Yep, and like the old saying goes, you never know until you try.
Yeah, even with me worrying about stuff all the time, I still at least try to give something one try. It's a bit hard, but I still try anyways.
Yeah, same here, Kestrel. So getting on further with the OC romances, I figured for initially it would just just be the two ships and no children at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then on April 14th, 2022, you literally caught me off guard when you announced that Kestrelina was gonna have a child.
Yeah, I thought it would be like like a pretty good idea to give them like a little child because my characters usually that I make that are shipped together, they usually end up having children. And I like making like an offspring to kind of see like what goes with what and what will make the character look original even with the attributes from their parents.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. And honestly, when you created Marie, I fell in love with her almost immediately.
I really wasn't sure about like showing her off at first because I was like, what if nobody likes her? What if I don't use her that often? I don't, but I still love her. She's super cute.
Yeah, and honestly, the covers on Marie are just mind blowing.
I don't even know why I chose red. I just thought it was like real pretty to use because I don't have a lot of characters that use red that isn't like Shira and Apple.
Yeah, yeah, but honestly, I think the red suits Marie very well.
I was just like, it's just a real good shade of brown. Like it's just like a really pretty brown. I don't know how to explain it.
The brown, I honestly think is really cute.
And with like the mixed match of like Kestrelina's like silver hair.
And that's honestly my favorite part about Marie it's the combination of her brown hair and Kestrelina's silver hair.
I made her kind of like a kind of translated over to Mario version of my Tomodachi Life baby, like the first one I had with my boyfriend, Charlotte. That's why she has heterochromia, because the little character Charlotte has heterochromia.
Yeah, because it was a little later on that you did share the kids you and your boyfriend had on Tomodachi Life to my Discord server.
And I thought that would be like a cool thing to add in before I ever introduced the kids that I had on Tomodachi Life.
Yeah, and heck, I honestly didn't even know about them until you shared them.
And they're honestly like been such a big part of my life too, so I'm like pretty surprised at myself for not sharing them.
I can definitely see what you mean there.
And I like love them to like bits. They're my favorite things that I've created that aren't my OCs. But the other kid we haven't discussed too much in detail yet is Iris, and I don't use her often either, but she's so cute.
Oh yes, Nickel Daisy and Kestra Peach's daughter.
I loved making her too, because she does have the attributes of like my natural hair color and like your hair color. That's why hers like kind of a lighter brown than Marie's.
Hmm. Okay.
Like it's more of like a hazelnut looking color, because it's still she has a little bit of like the orange in her, but it's a little bit more overwritten from the genes of Kestra Peach.
I honestly didn't know the little bit of orange in her hair until now.
That's why her hair is a like pretty light shade of brown.
Honestly, I really like that.
I'm glad you like it, because I was just like, I don't know if I want her to have orange hair or to her to have my natural hair color. So it was like a real big battle between the two, and then I eventually just settled for the in between option.
Yep, just mix them all up and boom, you have this lighter shade of brown.
And I think she's like still really pretty. Even if I gave her orange hair, she'd still look like real pretty.
Yeah, honestly, I think she does look really nice either way.
Yeah, either way she comes out, she still looks very beautiful.
I also really like the role you gave Iris within the family.
Yeah, I was like really like thinking like, should she just have the same role as her parents, or should she do something different? I think she should do something different so she could stand out just a little bit from the family.
And honestly, I think it turned out perfect.
Because when I make like little characters that are like offsprings of two other ones, I really think about how can they differ or and be the same as their parents. Like I want them to be both, but they're also supposed to be a little different because they're individual people. That was really the only like difficult part that wasn't like me deciding her hair color. The messenger role is basically like, say they need to get like a message or something to like God, and just like they can't get up there. They're busy with something else. They're dealing with something else completely different. They have their own little personal messenger that can travel at the speed of light up there.
That's when Iris comes into play. When I looked up the actual definition of the name Iris, I just thought right away, it's perfect.
That's what like kind of gave me her job in, because I was like, I wonder what Iris even means. Because I always have that name in the back of my head. Because, like I said, I have Tomodachi babies. I think about baby names all the time. So I was like, oh, Iris, that's a cute one. I should use that. And then I looked up what it meant. And I was like, that is literally perfect. And she's been like that ever since. I don't use her as often, but I do plan on using her a little bit more.
Yeah, I've actually considered doing role plays where Iris is involved.
That should be a thing, because that would be really cute. So she could interact with like cousins and her parents and all that fun stuff.
There is even this one role play I was thinking of a Smash Bros. Fan art where Daisy is receiving a letter and Peach is excited for her to open it.
That would actually work pretty good.
So the way I see it, I think it may be like, Iris giving a letter to maybe like Nickel Daisy or Kestra Daisy or Rose.
Probably Nickel Daisy.
Yeah, but personally, I think Nickel Daisy would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, that would make like more sense to use Nickel Daisy.
And honestly, my favorite part about Iris is taking on the messenger role is the form you created for her.
Yeah, because in order to basically bypass the laws of physics and travel at the speed of light, she's got to look a little different, a little more aerodynamic.
Yep.
So I was like, is there any fan art that I could like use as like kind of a muse to figure out how this works? And then I remembered Striker's Charge existed, so I was like, oh, that is perfect. I should use that.
Yep. And honestly, I couldn't have thought of a more better option. I mean, the way Peach looks when she does her Mega Strike in Mario Strikers Charged, holy crap, she looks good.
And she looks like super angelic too, so I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I'm still amazed to this day that you've made that choice. Holy.
I'm kind of surprised that I even remembered that I could use that because I was like, man, I'm so out of ideas and I don't even know if I want to like start up a whole new sketch to come up with my own design.
Yeah, but I can tell how much time and effort you put into your artwork.
Because I think you noticed I draw pretty rarely and it also takes a long time for me to finish stuff.
That's kind of the same thing with me. But even though I'm more oriented towards my OCs.
Yeah, because I'm very like like I said like probably a while ago, like I'm just very particular about the way I color things and just do stuff in general. I just like making like fan art and stuff. I do draw my OCs, but I like mostly fan art.
Okay.
Like right now, I'm like the reason I'm talking like so much is because I'm drawing at the same time, so I'm keeping my mind busy and coming up with more stuff to talk about.
It's always good to get your mind going on something when you've really got a good idea.
That's usually how I get my stuff is I'm either watching something or I'm talking at the same time.
But when it comes to my ideas, I usually like to think of them like almost on the spot, or or give it a few days of thought.
It takes me a long time. A long time. Every time, guarantee it takes me forever to come up with an idea for something.
Hmm.
That's also why drawing takes so long for me to get done. Because I have so many ideas flashing in my head. I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I want to sketch this? Or should I finish this or that? And it's like so many things up in my head.
I sometimes get that way too. Where you just got like a billion ideas and at the moment you could really only do like one of them.
Yeah, and it's like you can't pick. It's like, oh my god, which one do I pick?
Yes. Yeah, yes. What do I need to do? What should I draw?
And it sucks because it's just like, I want to do it right now, but my brain isn't letting me.
Oh, it is pretty difficult, but when your mind goes into a spiral like that,
And then sometimes those ideas never escape my head and then I forget it.
yep, I can definitely see your point there.
Like there's probably a million ideas I've had and I just completely like forgot about.
Well, one example of an idea I had was when you made that edit of Kestrelina in Nicole Peach's dress, and I knew right away I had to make a drawing of Nicole Peach in Kestrelina's dress.
Oh yeah, I remember that edit. I thought it was really cute. Because I saw like fan art like, oh, Rosalina's wearing Peach's dress. That's a good idea. My idea now.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest, that's one of my favorite edits that you've made.
It's kind of one of mine too. I love outfit swap stuff.
Yes, outfit swaps are just so cute. Oh my god.
It's like you never really think about what that character looks like in a different outfit until you actually create it.
Yeah, I know. It's just mind blowing. It just expresses a whole lot of character.
And just like appreciation for the character too.
Yeah, definitely. And even considering the other day when I did the outfit and face paint swaps for each of our OCs.
I really liked that one. It was like, I don't know, I just love it so much.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Thank you, Kestrel.
No problem. I always like seeing the stuff that you make. Like when I get up in the morning and like I check my phone, I'm like, I wonder if there's any like new edits made. I just really like seeing it.
Yeah, and a good majority of the time that there will be new artwork and edits that I've made.
It's always like a nice thing to see when I wake up. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I really like that.
And one of my favorite artworks that I've made, and I'm sure you've seen it before. It is Nicolina in his same outfit and makeup, and Kestrolina. It is Nicolina in his same outfit and makeup, and Kestrolina in her Juggalo makeup and outfit.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That one's really cute.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it represents our personalities very well.
It really does, cause like since middle school, I've really, really embraced the fact that I'm a juggalo.
Yeah, and I've really started to embrace the fact that I am a Juggalo now.
It's been like my thing since middle school. Like I've loved them since like I think midway through my middle school years. And then I was just like completely like put it as another part of my personality in high school.
I can definitely see your point there. Yeah, but and I never knew about Insane Clown Posse until you made a story on your Kestrolina account with one of their songs.
I'm glad I could introduce you to them because they've been my like I just said it a little while ago. They've been my favorite artists for like years.
Yeah, and as of late, they have become one of my favorites too. And I mean, the message of Insane Clown Posse songs, I feel, is extremely strong.
Yeah, and they're like real good too. Like just all around good messages to have.
Yes, yeah. The way I see it, it's like it's kind of like a principle I see in God. Do good, and good will come to you.
Yeah, I usually see it as just like because most of the songs that I have on my playlist is just like, oh yeah, I'm like killing and hurting all these bigots because they're evil and evil needs to be ridded from the world. And I just really love those kind of songs because that's kind of what I fight against most of the time. It's just overall evil.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of evil in the world, but as long as we stay true to who we are, I feel that's all that really matters.
Yeah, because in the end, do good things, get good rewards.
Yes.
Because if you do something good, you're gonna get reward for it.
Yep.
In like any kind of way, you will get rewarded for it because good isn't unseen, even if no one is actually watching you.
Yeah, and the way I see good is kind of like integrity, like doing good when nobody is watching.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. I love that stuff too, because like I do stuff sometimes when like no one's watching, which most of the time I'm not like nobody's not watching me, but I usually like to do stuff like around the house. Not even just around the house, at my school, because like people litter at my school and I like to pick up the trash.
Oh my goodness. I would do the same thing back in my high school days, Kestrel.
It paid off too, because I remember one time I cleaning up some trash I found outside. I was just like, really, dude, you can just throw this away. Trash can's right there. And what do I see? $20 bill right on the floor.
What the hell?
Someone just had 20 laying around, and I was just like, well, I guess that's a good for me for doing, like, stuff that people couldn't even bother to be doing.
When it comes to me picking up trash, I haven't been as lucky as you.
And this only happened, like, one time in my junior year. Hasn't happened again since, but it was still pretty, like, rewarding.
I definitely have to agree with that. It's just, yeah, so basically in our case, we're basically saving the environment.
Yeah, 'cause, like, you wouldn't want trash laying around your house. Why do you do it, like, outside and in public spaces where everybody else goes? That's disgusting. There's trash cans everywhere for you to use, and you decide to just use the floor.
Yep, or the freaking grass. Like, yeah, what the hell?
Exactly. Like, gross. And then, like, my school's like, people just leave crap everywhere, even on the stairs. Like, I saw a half-eaten sandwich on the stairs, like, 5 times my whole, like, 3 years.
Oh, jeez. Holy. Oh, man.
It's gross. Like, people just leave everything on the floor, and it's like, people walk here all the time. I'll just pick it up since I'm probably the only person that ever thinks of it.
I do feel a similar way, Kestrel. I do sometimes feel like I'm the only one that like gives a damn about the litter around my school.
Exactly, or just anywhere in general. Like, I'll pick up trash anywhere. I'm just like, the trash can's right there, or like, you could just hold it on to it and wait until you get to a trash can.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why my pockets are full of trash sometimes. I forget to throw them away.
Yeah, but my pockets would get full of trash too.
And then I forget that, and I wash my clothes, and there's like bits of paper all over my clean clothes.
Oh, jeez.
Mostly from washing my hoodies, because I wear those all the time. Oh my god, we went so off topic. Where were we actually? I completely forgot.
Yeah, but we were talking about Iris, Nickel Daisy, and Kesper Peach's child.
Oh yeah, I just ramble a lot and I get onto tangents and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but it's no problem at all, Kestrel. I sometimes go on tandems as well.
It's fine though.
But there is still one more topic we do need to get to.
Oh, okay. We could finish that one up and I will try not to go on a tangent again.
To be exact, everyone, the last thing we're going to be talking about is how Kestrel and I met.
So, from my perspective of how we met, it was the exact day I made my Kestrelina account. I followed like a bunch of people Tylerina was following because I was like, oh, I'm new to the scene. Maybe there's more people. So I just like scrolled through, followed some accounts I saw was interesting, and one of them happened to be yours. And then like hours later, like you drew me like some art of Kestrelina, and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't think I would be noticed like that."
Yep. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kestrel. The first time I saw your OC, I knew immediately there is no way I'm letting this go without welcoming you.
I'm surprised that you like when I first I was like surprised like, "Oh my god, I can't believe someone took the time out of their day to acknowledge me like that."
Yeah, I have to admit it was thinking back on that day is just it's just unbelievable.
It's just like I can't believe like something so tiny like just like this moment right here.
Yeah, exactly. How a simple drawing would lead to something like this.
That's just like crazy like to think about. Like if I didn't make that account, I literally wouldn't be talking now. You wouldn't even know who I am.
Exactly. From my perspective, on the day we met, I did make a drawing of Nicolina and Tylerina together holding a mysterious Luma OC.
I remember that post like very vividly for some reason. I just like have a very vivid memory of that.
See, I just thought, it was just simply just gonna be me and Tylerina as Rosalina OCs, just as the only OCs, and then poof, you came around.
And that was also dependent on me even interacting with Tylerina. Because we were like in this big roleplay chat that I was just like randomly added into. So I was like, okay, whatever. I guess I could just have some fun and like roleplay a bit. And then me and Tylerina interacted a little bit, and I was like, this character's kind of cool. I like this whole different colored Rosalina idea. So I just like decided to transfer that to my own kind of creation. And now here we are.
Yep. I'm gonna be honest with you. It is somewhat emotional to think about that one drawing of our Rosalina OCs led to this moment.
I know, it's just like I love thinking about it. Like that's what I've been thinking about this whole time while I'm talking. Besides like working on the drawing that I'm doing. That's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah. Holy. Yeah, from that drawing to our OC romances to the understanding we have for each other and all else in between. I'm gonna be honest, Kestrel. I couldn't ask for a better friend than you.
Honestly, me too. Like I have like all my like real life friends and stuff. They're amazing, but like I haven't had an online friend that lasted this long.
Yep, we've been friends for just over 2 years. And it feels like we've known each other for 5 years.
Exactly. It feels like we've known each other for like so long.
Yep, and it's honestly one of the big reasons, why I talked about you so much in my videos, especially in Angel Rise.
Yeah, like I think that's pretty amazing that I've been talked about so much because I'm not used to getting this kind of attention from like people that isn't my boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kestrel. I'm one that really likes to acknowledge their loved ones. I mean, I've acknowledged my friends like quite a bit.
I love doing that too. It's just like for me in the form of like just giving them little things or just talking, like in general, because art takes a long time for me, so I don't really draw that often.
That's definitely understandable. Yeah, but honestly, Kestrel, our friendship it tops all of my high school friendships combined. Honestly, I'm just so grateful to have a friend like you.
Me too. Like I have amazing real life friends, but in the sense of an online friend, I haven't had one that cared about me so much and treated me with so much respect.
Yeah. Yep, honestly, Kestrel, I've honestly felt the need to treat you with so much respect because I really felt that you could use more love than like anybody else on the entire face of the planet.
With the way my life has treated me, I really think I need something at this point. And I'm glad to even have something and someone in general to care for me that isn't like a romantic partner.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. You are part of my family, like a third sister to me.
And like I love that so much. Like I don't know how to put it into words other than just I love it because I don't know, I'm not good at explaining stuff.
I mean, I've interacted with my step cousin a lot, and him and I have become best buddies. But you top that by a long shot.
I'm surprised because I'm not like super good at keeping up with texting and all that.
Hmm.
I'm better with talking. Like I think this is a pretty good example. I'm really good at talking.
Yeah. Yeah, but either way, thank you so much for being my dearest friend, Kestrel. I'm so thankful for you.
And I'm thankful for you too, dude. Like honestly, like, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, I'm just so grateful to have such an amazing.
I'm not kidding with you right now. I'm actually starting to tear up a little bit.
Oh, I'm getting emotional too, but I don't cry as often. I'm just like giddy. Like I feel special. Like I feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Like, oh, I mean something to somebody that isn't my boyfriend. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but you definitely make my life that much better, Kestrel. Honestly.
Yeah, like same here. Like when I feel like I'm like upset, I'm just like I like go to the server sometimes just look at like the edits and pictures that we've made. And I'm just like, maybe life isn't so terrible.
Yeah, but as long as you've got good people to be around, you've got good spirits.
Like that's what is like one of the things that just gets me like out of like depressive episodes that I sometimes have. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm not good enough for this world or not good enough for anyone. And I just look at my stuff that I like make for people and people make for me and I'm just like there is something about me that makes people want to talk to me. I am still worth being alive, you know?
Yes. Yep, and I'm honestly happy that you are still alive, Kestrel. Honestly.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of points that you and my boyfriend have basically completely changed like my lifespan.
Yeah, it definitely makes me think, that your boyfriend and I are basically your lifesavers.
Basically, like I like publicly have never told the story of how me and my boyfriend got together and why it's so significant.
Oh, okay.
It's because I had a extremely disturbing plan for Valentine's Day that I won't go into for the sake of it being a real sensitive topic.
Yeah, but I actually did hear about it, and I'm honestly thankful that you didn't go through with it.
Because around that time I got dumped by my ex-boyfriend that I absolutely hate now because he hurts me. He hurt me a lot and he did in recent times, but I wanted to basically not exist anymore and I didn't want to specifically on Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
And then me and Ira started talking months prior before I basically had the timer ticking in my head and I started having feelings for him first. I didn't know he had feelings for me. And then we just kept talking and talking and talking and then one day I was just like, "Hey, you want to be my boyfriend?" And I was so scared that he was going to say no and I like started crying. And then he was like, "Yes, of course. Why not? I like you too." And I was like crying in front of him. I was just like, "Thank you so much."
Oh, okay.
So basically, if he said no, I probably wouldn't be alive anymore. But thanks to him, and we're going almost 3 years strong. I'm still here. I made it to 18, basically.
Yep. Yeah, you made it, and I'm honestly happy that you did, Kestrel.
I'm proud of myself too. I'm honestly like really proud of myself and surprised I even made it this long. And I plan on making it even longer. Probably until I'm like an old wrinkly lady.
Yep. Yeah,
At least
yep.
that's what I want.
If it weren't for your boyfriend meeting you, we probably wouldn't have met.
Yeah. Like there was basically two big events in like history that were like an obstacle, like either we don't meet or we do meet.
Yeah.
So it was Valentine's Day and then me talking to Tylerina.
Yep.
which the odds of even meeting them was even higher than the other one. Or lower, technically, because, like, it was really by chance that we even, like, interacted.
Yep. Yeah, but it was this friendship by choice that, yeah, that really got it going.
Yeah, because I could have just, like, ignored, like, the entire post and moved on with my life. But no, I thought it was so, like, nice, and I just decided to keep interacting.
Yeah, I've sort of felt the same way. I didn't have much confidence with talking with online friends until I met you.
Because usually I'm not too keen on interacting with people online. That's why I have very minimal, like, online spaces that I talk in. Like, I've had online friends, but I just, like, never go out of my way to start talking to new people. And it goes for real life too, but still, it's mostly by chance I meet people, and it's always a pretty good outcome, especially in this case.
Yes, definitely, Kestrel. Definitely. Again, I'm honestly thankful that our friendship has come this far.
And I'll say it again, me too.
Thank you so much, Kestrel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It's really no problem because I've enjoyed it too. So it's basically like kind of a like two-way streak of just I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I do as well, Kestrel. Like, I honestly couldn't ask for a better friend.
Subscribe now. Subscribe now.